Everything is... Hello, folks. Jacob and Joey here with a quick message for everybody.
A PSA, perhaps one could say.
Okay, so here's the we gotta explain a couple of things real quickly. So for quite some time, we've been getting comments and messages and stuff. People saying, "Are you gonna play the Remind DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3? Are you gonna play that sweet Kingdom Hearts 3 story DLC content?"
And the answer was no.
The answer was no, probably, to be clear. I always said no, and with a wiggle room.
It was not a hard no, but it was a probably not.
Because we were concerned that I don't want this channel to be about, like, none of the playthroughs that we've done were ever done with the intent of just being mean into a video game. That's never what I've been out to do. I much prefer to make stuff that, you know, I'm talking more stuff is good for the most part. Obviously, I've made critical videos, and we've talked about things in these Kingdom Hearts playthroughs that we don't like, but generally, I think the only Kingdom Hearts game that we've played on this channel that we talked about this a little bit in other videos, but whatever. The only one that we generally disliked really was Dream Drop Distance, and even that's a fun, competently made, good game. It's just we don't like the story content of it very much.
We had a good time through it.
Yeah. And Kingdom Hearts 3, I think we both agree, is a pretty good game for 85% of its run. The only thing we dislike is the finale, the core narrative
That's where the main gripes come from.
And our concern was that we already know that we dislike the main narrative content at the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3, and the Remind DLC would surely be a continuation in the style of that type of stuff. So I was concerned that if we were to film a playthrough of it, we would be going into it with the preconceived... Like, we would be going into it basically already knowing... How do I put this? Going into it somewhat in bad faith. And I did not want to commit to making videos like that.
Well, yeah, of course.
Because that's not what I want this channel to be about, ever. And I know that may sound weird to you guys, but, like, legitimately, Dream Drop Distance to me was... There are things that I liked about the game, and I wanted to be, you know, tactical with discussing things that I think don't work. There's a difference with the way that the Kingdom Hearts 3 playthrough ends, which you guys haven't seen yet as you're listening to this video, but the raw reaction to these sort of things is a little bit different sometimes. And I was just concerned that filming a playthrough of Remind would potentially be us acting in poor faith. And also, I was afraid it wouldn't be entertaining. Like, Joey and I would just be bored or upset for most of it, and it would not be fun to watch, was a concern that I also had. Now, that being said, everybody continued to push for it. Please play the Remind DLC. As I've been editing Kingdom Hearts 3, I was reminded of how much I enjoyed, you know, the rest of the game. Because I really do like, you know, most of the rest of Kingdom Hearts 3. I was having fun with it.
We had a blast.
And so basically, Joey and I talked, and we said, here's what we will do. We will film it and not say that we filmed it. And basically, we will make a decision, you know, depending on how it comes out, whether or not we release it. If we feel that we're being, you know,
We're being too down on it, if it's boring, if we just don't feel like it would be a good idea to release it, we weren't going to release it. Then
we won't release it, and, you know, we never played it. Or, you know, maybe we don't necessarily need to lie to the people, but, you know, it would have just never seen the light of day, probably.
Yeah.
Now, we just a few minutes ago finished filming the Remind DLC as we're recording this video. You won't be seeing it for quite some time, possibly ever, because, I mean, while I think that what we just filmed is probably worth releasing, to be fair, you know, we just filmed it. I haven't edited it. I haven't actually made a decision on that. So this is not a promise that you will see the Remind DLC. But minimum, I felt that since I've talked about this in streams, but not everybody watches the streams, I owed perhaps a more thorough explanation of why we were being wishy-washy about filming the DLC, and now why we're wishy-washy about releasing it, even though we've filmed it.
Yes, wanted to be completely transparent about this.
Yes. Now, the plan had been that I would have explained all these thoughts in a video, and then whether or not we'd actually filmed it would have remained, you know, non-information until way down the line. And especially if we released it, my idea was we would do a trailer for it. The video would be titled simply Fine, and then it would be me and Joey sitting on a sofa, silent for a few moments, and then we would say Fine, and it would be a little trailer for Remind, and it would announce when the playthrough was going to come out, and it would be a surprise for you guys somewhere down the line. Not immediately after Kingdom Hearts 3, probably after, and still, it will not be immediately after Kingdom Hearts 3 is done, because I have other things that I want to work on, and other things that I think we both want to work on. Things we have been working on. We've been shooting other stuff since, you know, for the last couple of months, we've been filming other things. However, that surprise is now spoiled because we feel the need to come to you with a message, which is, you may want to consider not buying this DLC if you haven't already.
Yes.
We will say that there are a couple of pieces of content. how do we put this?
Okay.
We just played the main story content of Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC.
Yes.
And it is not worth $30. The maximum
to most people.
To most people, to us, and I legitimately think to most people. We'll get into the details of most in a second. Where I think that the vast majority of the value on this, again, this is, and to be clear, I want to make this clear that it's about the $30 value. If this was like a $15, $10 thing,
$30 is very expensive.
$30
for DLC.
is half the. It's high price for DLC, and you can buy multiple full games on PSN right now for $30. That are probably better experiences that we could recommend instead. But if you want to buy the DLC, these are, I think, the main core engagements of it. The data organization, to be clear, there's no spoilers in this. I should just be very clear.
This is completely spoiler-free.
The data organization fights, we only dabbled with a couple of them, but I've been hearing that they're pretty good. They're pretty well designed, and from what we saw, one of them was kind of frustrating us a little bit, but the other two seem to be well designed enough, and everything seems to be going okay.
It's like, if you're like a lot of people that was kind of bummed that 3 didn't have any real challenge to it. Of course, this was before Critical was out, but it's like these are pretty well designed, challenging fights.
Hard to say how fair they are from having only dipped our toes into a couple of these fights.
But
obviously.
It seems that people that are better in the game than we are saying that they're pretty good.
And having seen what a true BS boss fight looks like in Kingdom Hearts in things like Birth by Sleep, it didn't seem anywhere approaching that level, so I'm hoping that it's closer to the KH2 FM side of things. So if you're the type of person who has played Kingdom Hearts 2 FM on Critical and beaten all the data organization fights multiple times, and you just want more fights like that, and you like the Kingdom Hearts 3 battle system, then the data organization fights may be worth it to you. Additionally, if you're the type of person who has played Kingdom Hearts 3 on Critical and you love the game so much that you're really looking for a new challenge, the hard difficulty mode with the merit challenges and the modifiers and stuff, that may be of value to you.
If you're really wanting to challenge yourself and do like challenge specific like challenge runs and whatnot, then this DLC, like the main benefit of this DLC is for people that are craving a higher not even just higher, a pretty high difficulty.
A steep difficulty. If you are in love with the gameplay of Kingdom Hearts 3 and you really want to push it further, then this $30 package is probably for you. That being said, if what you want is A, significant and rich story content, or B, to play as Kairi, Roxas, Kairi, Roxas, Riku, Aqua, whatever, this is not a $30 package for you.
No,
the
and
narrative
you'll probably be disappointed. Especially if your whole thing is playing the characters, you will be disappointed.
If you are like, I'm gonna again, no spoilers, but like, if you've watched all of the trailers for Remind, you have seen the vast majority of the narrative content that is in Remind already, and that is hardly an exaggeration. Now, this is not like, it's not an abysmally bad package or anything. There is stuff in it, there is content in it, and honestly, because I've been avoiding spoilers, I don't know how the general Kingdom Hearts community is responding to this. Maybe everybody's really jazzed about Remind, I honestly don't know. And I certainly could imagine somebody enjoying this DLC. Like it's not the worst thing that's ever been released of all time, but this to me is not a $30 package if your primary interest is the narrative content.
If your primary interest is the narrative content, honestly, you are better off finding somebody's video on it and just watching it.
Because I was not planning on buying this DLC anyway, but I did it for the sake of doing this playthrough. And as let's imagine a scenario where I was interested in the narrative content, but I really didn't care about the challenge stuff or the image poser mode, which is a value add for some people, I guess, and the data organization fights. If I was just in this for the Kingdom Hearts story, this is a $10 to $15 package value to me, like at most. And we legitimately felt the need, I think, Joey, you said it first, to create a PSA saying, hey, if you haven't bought this yet, maybe if you're in it primarily for the narrative content, maybe consider not buying it.
If nothing else, if you were thinking about getting this, please look into it and make sure that this is what you want to spend your money on.
Yes.
Because I cannot, in good faith, leave here today without warning people.
This is has the friend we were talking about bought the DLC yet or not? Who you were?
No.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna. And I imagine you're gonna have a talk with them tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I am going to sit them down.
There's a friend of Joey's who I was being told is very excited for the DLC to finally get to play as Kyrie. Warning to everyone out there, especially if you are going to be playing the game on Critical, I don't imagine you will be playing as Kyrie for very long, my friend. It's this, you know what? If you really want to avoid just a really vague Remind spoiler, mute the video while current picture of Kyrie is on screen. But Kyrie is available for a single boss fight.
Single boss fight.
And on Proud mode, she did not really seem sufficiently designed to deal with the boss without really learning the boss and really learning the moveset as if you were fighting like a secret boss. You would have had to dedicate time to beat it as Kyrie.
It's like you will be able to, but it takes significant investment unless you're on an easier difficulty.
We tried as Kyrie on Proud, to be clear, not on Critical. We tried as Kyrie on Proud probably for like 6 minutes, and then we switched to Sora. Because it was not. If you're coming into this with the desire of I really need to play as Kyrie, I finally need to play as my girl, you're gonna get what you want for like 30 seconds.
Sadly.
Like Joey said, if you want to buy the DLC, we're not necessarily going to discourage you from it. We're going to encourage you to
advise to educate yourself on it instead of just assuming that you're going to enjoy the package that you get.
In this case, if you are trying to avoid all spoilers on the DLC until you purchase it, I would recommend spoiling yourself and making the decision and learning about it to understand if it is a package that you want to invest in, because I feel that the main places where you're going to get your money's worth out of it is going to be in the long-term gameplay stuff, not in the narrative content. But that's different strokes for different folks, obviously.
Exactly, and I mean, we can't. Everything we're saying, you can never say how other people are playing the game, how other people are enjoying the series.
Obviously not.
But it's one of those things where I cannot imagine that the majority of people I can't imagine that most people are playing it for the intense level of difficulty.
I am, especially how intense the black code stuff looks. It's like, it seems ridiculous, but we didn't spend any time with it, so maybe it's not as hard as some of that stuff looked. But I don't know, we didn't say this on camera, the sensation that I got from this is, I don't know if this was a rushed piece of cash grab content or if it was neglected content that did not reach its full potential, because there were multiple interviews because this was supposed to come out end of last year. There were multiple times that Tetsuya Nomura talked about getting it done. It has to be the way he's usually kind of, I wouldn't say that he's vague necessarily, but he made very bold, very like clear-cut, like, it has to be done statements in interviews where it was like, I'm going to get it done by the end of the year because I need to focus on Final Fantasy VII. And
it's one of those things where it's like, you really don't see those types of things coming out of interviews for games, especially out of Japan.
It was an odd tone, and I get the impression that maybe Tetsuya Nomura was so busy with FF7 that perhaps some of the aspects of the vision for Remind just didn't quite get there, or maybe this is the intended vision, and this is the cash grab that it kind of appears to be, because the $30 price tag on this, then paired with the $40 version with the concert videos, is like, really feels like this is just trying to fleece cash out of people. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say that negatively, because there is good work on display here. These data boss fights seem really cool. There is admittedly some cool stuff in the main story content of the Remind DLC. Sure. It's not all bad. There's some neat stuff in there.
It's just it's not $30 neat in my opinion.
No, it doesn't. And obviously, we don't know the internal circumstances. We don't know how much money they spent developing this.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here saying you should have made it $10, should have made it $15. Maybe they should have, but
who knows?
Those are. All that is dependent on circumstances that we know nothing about. I'm not going to sit here and be a baby about it.
The end of the day message is, we have now filmed a playthrough of Remind against our better judgment, which will probably come out sometime after our Kingdom Hearts playthrough will conclude and another playthrough will start, and this will probably come out after that playthrough or like midway through that playthrough or something like that. You won't be seeing this for a while. if I wind up editing this and going, no, we really can't release this, maybe we'll release a highlight reel or something. Otherwise, I mean, I'll let you guys know what's going on. I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, this is to be transparent, and also as a gentle warning.
A gentle warning of a buyer's beware situation.
Yes.
This wouldn't even be a concern if people weren't so concerned about spoilers for Kingdom Hearts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in most instances, I think people would do the research and find out what was in it. But it's like, in this case, you really possibly should throw caution to the wind on the spoiler stuff and maybe watch a partial walkthrough of the Remind DLC. And read about like the details of the features that are in here, and make sure you have a firm grasp on what you're paying for, because it might not be the package that you're expecting. Not necessarily a bad package, but possibly for some people, especially people who are primarily interested in narrative content, an overpriced package.
Without getting into any spoilers or anything, if you're in it for narrative, for anything narrative, it's short.
It's short.
Not a long.
It's short, and at the end of our playthrough, Joey and I racked our brains to try and come up with a list of everything that had every important event that had happened or important piece of information, and we had a really hard time getting to a number that took both hands to count on. So,
yeah.
Just consider.
Just please educate yourself
That
if
is-
you think you're going to purchase this.
That is the end of the PSA. Sorry for being a little bit repetitive several times throughout that.
It's just
It's late in the evening, and we just spent 7 hours playing.
This is not rehearsed.
Stuff.
It's just it's something we
This
gotta do.
is This is off the cuff because Joey insisted that he felt the need to record a message, and I said, you know what? Sure, that's fine. I don't want to sound like I'm placing that on you, but Joey was like, I want to film something, and I was like, yes, sure, let's do it.
It's just, like I said, I couldn't, in good faith, not say something.
So yeah, that's out on the table. Please tune in for more Gummy Ship streams, because I'll be doing more of them, you sons of guns. Please continue to enjoy the Kingdom Hearts 3 playthrough as it comes out. I think you'll enjoy it. I mean, it's a legitimately fun playthrough, I think. I've been editing it. I think it's enjoyable content. Everybody have a good time with that. And we'll keep you posted as we know more about what you'll be seeing on the channel in the future. Talk to you later, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We hope that we've potentially provided some valuable information. More power to you if you enjoyed the DLC, though. There is stuff to enjoy.
There's stuff to be enjoyed, yes, for sure.